Today we're talking Katt Williams versus a 7th grader. Nate Parker opens a film school, and Black Trump supporters explain themselves. All that and more.
You are tuned in to Black Hollywood Live this week.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You're watching Black Hollywood Live this week with no music, so we are gonna mime.
No music.
No music.
No music. Hey.
Hey. Hey. There we go. We
It's a
gotta be.
remix, y'all.
Woo. Hey. Woo.
Put your hands in the air loud. Put your hands in the air loud. Put your hands in the air loud. What?
I think we just danced the entire show.
I don't want to do that.
I didn't sign up for this.
Rachel's like, I just came to talk about hot topics.
With the
There was no
stars.
Soul Train jumping off in this show today.
Here's the thing, I did not grow up watching Soul Train, so therefore I did not learn to dance because my parents didn't.
Listen, you can binge watch Soul Train on YouTube right now.
I might
For
go,
real.
I might go home and do that right now so I can
pretty
keep up
awesome.
with you guys.
It's pretty great too. Listen, I still might have some of those dance steps that I learned for that show. All right, well, we got a great show today. You're watching Black Hollywood Live this week, the hottest show out this week because we're covering all the news topics that have happened over the week. And joining me today is the beautiful Courtney Stewart.
That's me.
The equally as beautiful Rachel True. And the equal as beautiful Jesse Janedy.
Hey.
And I'm Derrial Christon, your host today.
Equally as beautiful.
So
Equally. I got a haircut just for today.
Beautiful. Lined up real nice.
Yeah.
And
No.
you wore a special tie.
And I wore a special tie, which you can't really see, but yes. We got a lot of great topics that we're going to be covering today, but first we're going to talk about the buzzer meter question from last week, which we had a major discussion about, which is, do you agree with Amber Rose? And she's been making a lot of comments in the news, actually a lot lately.
Keeping that name out there.
And you guys voted, and let's see, Jesse, do you have those results, or do you?
Unfortunately, our Black Hollywood website is down right now, so
We
we'll have to
can't.
come next week with those.
And let
Okay,
y'all
but
know.
you know what? If I have to, think into the future.
That sounds biased.
Okay, you're right. I won't get my response.
I
then.
do want to say I read someone's comment on YouTube and they were saying, "Oh, you guys missed her point."
No, we didn't.
There were some complaints
Courtney
about
just
that.
said no, we didn't.
didn't.
No,
No,
I understand what the person writing in was saying because Amber is sticking up for why is it okay for men to sleep with as many people as they want, just be considered a man, and if I do it or you do it, then we're hoes. So I understand what Amber Rose is trying to do. I think. I don't necessarily. Listen, she got famous from sleeping with somebody, so it is hard for me to completely understand the message. Like I do completely agree. You should be able to. We all on this panel, everyone out there listening, should be able to sleep with whoever you want, whatever way you want, as long as it doesn't harm anyone else. Have at it.
I got the website working, and the votes are at 100% yes.
Oh!
Wow, that's a
Wait,
slam.
what?
I don't think we've ever
They
had.
agree with Amber
They agree with Amber
It
Rose.
said that, yeah.
Wait, 100%.
I think no.
Well, they
there's
agreed
something wrong.
because we were talking about whether or not we're holding the girl Amber Rose versus like a Beyonce to different standards. So
Really, 100%?
I don't believe 100%
I don't know if I believe
of our
100%.
fans, but all right.
All right.
I feel like Amber
If
Rose
that's
hacked
what
your
you guys say.
website.
probably.
No,
Wait, what's her fan base called?
Yeah, she's
Right.
The
she's
Rosebuds or
She's
something?
got
I don't know.
hacking skills,
Ew,
I
do you know what a
believe.
rosebud is?
I don't know.
Well, if she got 100%, good for her.
Of course you do.
But the buzzer meter question for today is something we'll be talking about as well, which has been in the news, is do you believe Black Trump supporters?
Do you believe them, y'all?
I got a lot to say about that personally, but
Okay.
first off, we're going to talk about the trending topics with DJ Jesse J.
Boom. So there's been this comedian who everyone's been talking about named Quincy Jones. He's 32 years old and he is terminally ill. He is. The doctors basically said that he has a year to live. So he put up this Kickstarter campaign for $5,000. So that he could put together a special. A lot of the comedians at a show I was at a few weeks ago, they were talking about this and they were really excited. Just wanted to. They didn't even know him, but they wanted to support someone in the community. So a whole bunch of people donated. He got the $5,000. He went on Ellen, and Ellen done got Shutterfly to donate $15,000 because she booked him. HBO is going to actually air the special.
Yeah, I was about to say
Oh, my
5,000 is
God.
not a special mate, but you know, I think that's amazing that she's done that. I'm not sure what he has, but
I believe it's
being
cancer.
He has cancer, I believe,
being
I
faced
read,
with a terminal illness and still being able to have a sense of humor about it and carry on with your comedy is really inspirational.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I didn't hear anything you said after you said done got, because I just you took me. I was like, you got me with the done got. I was like, he hit us with the done got. So after that, it kind of went void for a second, but then I came back and resurfaced. You know what, Ellen always does some really amazing things for people. So I have to applaud her, because we've talked about her on the show several times about helping people out, and I know she's a big supporter of even from people who have certain diseases and animals. So you know, applauding to her, because she doesn't have to.
Okay, let me ask you guys a question, because I've been seeing this within certain things. So, and then maybe it's just a certain type of person out there who complains about stuff like this in this day and age.
Who
But,
complained
like,
about it?
My thing is like, so with this, a lot of people were saying, oh, here comes Ellen, the white person coming in to save the black.
Don't nobody black did it for
That's
him.
thank you.
Katt Williams, we're going to talk about later. I wish this was the kind of stuff he did.
That's
to
what we
get
should be hearing
attention.
from him versus him being of
wish-
seventh graders.
Listen, I will say, as a black actress, and you're an actress as well, we're not always 100% supportive of each other. In any community, it's not just black, but it's not just black people, I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
But yes, it's frustrating, I suppose. But I think sometimes Black Twitter, you know, is just looking for let's get whitey. Sometimes white people are really lovely and really
mean
cool.
well.
And we shouldn't always look. They're not all the enemy. And I believe that Ellen is a minority as well, being a gay woman and being outed like she was back in the day,
Very
and
true.
kind of having her career go down and then having to reinvent
She's a
herself.
success story after
And
coming
she's a
back.
comedian, so she
she's a
understands what he's
comedian,
going
exactly.
through. Like,
But I didn't see who's the little short guy, Kevin Hart. I didn't see Kevin Hart doing
jumping into
this.
it.
Who
Right.
has enough money to do a million HBO
I mean, that's
Instead
true.
of just finding a sponsor, like she went to Shutterfly. It's not like she
Right.
like wrote a check or what have you, but she also has a different platform that
Yeah.
isn't really the case. Is there a black comedian talk show right now that I can't
Not that
think
I know
of?
of. There's
Well,
probably
no,
somebody-
Byron
Harvey.
Allen has
Steve
one.
Harvey.
No, Byron, and then Byron has
Harvey.
does he still have his show at night that comes on? After the late show?
I don't know.
Girl,
I don't think so.
girl,
Either way, it's a
girl, if we ask that many
reaching.
questions,
But
then
yeah,
Listen, I'm just trying to give support where the support is.
I have
So.
a sidebar to say that when I did Steve Harvey's radio show, he was so like not nice to me and called me the white black girl that I just
Really?
don't like you, Steve.
I feel like he just had a cunty personality. He's
thank you
he's
for
super nice.
saying
I liked
it.
him.
But
I
also
what-
such a
what word did you use?
misogynist.
A cunty
He
person.
said the C
I
word.
thought you were
I
going
did
country,
not.
but you said
Yeah.
country. I was
Okay,
like,
Wow.
okay, no. Sorry. When I say that word, it's not I don't mean it disrespectfully, because like I just realized no, there are certain people who talk a certain way. Like my grandmother talks cunty. It's just she's old. Sorry. Okay, let me use another word.
so she just say shit like
Whatever the heck comes off her mind, like why you look like that?
But don't you think, and I'm not trying to turn into Steve Harvey discussion, but I do find it interesting that women were flocking and reading his books and literally
With that
he's like a
shirtless
raving misogynist.
Yeah.
So why would you
Yeah,
don't eat the
yeah.
cow in the milk? Shut up.
No, but I hear you. But here's where I have to disagree with you, because I read the book and my sister
It's
and
a
mother asked me about it. It's a
perspective.
perspective that a lot of women do not
Don't
know and
No,
get.
I understand
and
it's
so
a 1950s
I appreciate.
perspective that modern women
I don't think it was
today do not
1950s.
know. It is. It's
I
be
don't
a
think
lady,
it was.
keep your legs shut.
I agree with a lot of things that were said in the book, but I don't.
Keep your legs shut?
I try.
Well, you don't actually have to open yours to do those things. So
Depending on the
you
position.
get to sit there.
No, but I do. I will say this: as much as I did not have fun on Steve Harvey's show, I do really respect what he's done.
yeah,
He created
sure.
the empire
Insane.
that he's created for himself is insane. I don't think he particularly seems to, like a different kind of black person who throws off his sensibility. Like if I threw him off, I mean, I don't know. That kind of black person who says if you're not black like I am, I
Right.
find very frustrating.
I feel like we're about to do a concert right now. The lights
Right, I know the lights just came on.
That's
All we need is a wind machine. A wind machine.
I
right
shall
now.
I
No,
shall
we
now
have to
do
Mariah
a
Carey.
monologue from Black Like
Honey,
Me.
speaking of a wind machine, it was like Katt Williams got hit by one, y'all. So this video went viral the
Kat.
other day. So apparently Katt Williams was
Kat.
doing something nice.
He was.
He was playing with the neighborhood kids,
He was playing
soccer.
basketball. Oh, sorry.
Soccer.
My
They said
bad.
soccer,
I always
but-
thought basketball. And I saw the video. And I still
Stereotyping.
thought, yes, I'm
Stereotyping
racist.
right here.
The Negroes should be playing
Where
basketball.
black people play soccer
Black people play soccer.
Katt Williams
They
is
do.
too short to be playing basketball.
Those are those Afro Negroes.
That's not true.
Afro
They're short, though.
Latinos.
Here's what I want.
I'm kidding, by the way.
I said this about Katt last week. Like, I love Katt. I've worked with him. I think he's super duper duper talented. But if you're wondering why there's no like the Katt Williams half-an-hour comedy
Because he
show,
punches small
this
children.
is why. Because you can't insure someone who's erratic and who hits people. And
It's not like you said erotic. I was like, oh.
Well, that's
Is that where we're
another
going right now?
conversation.
So the video went out viral, and so this boy who TMZ is claiming he's in 7th grade that has not been like
I thought he was
confirmed.
17. You can't be.
They said seven. No, they said 7th.
No, he's
They
seven.
said
He's
he
seventh
was
grade.
17, though.
Okay, see, that's why they're saying allegedly. TMZ was saying 7th grade, and then
Oh.
other people are saying he was older than that.
I mean, he could be 17 and in 7th grade. This is the
Oh,
American
that's-
educational
Please,
system.
Lord
so.
Jesus.
I hope that's not the case.
But so apparently the kids started arguing with Katt first, and then Katt was like, "Nah, bitch." And then the kid had him in a chokehold headlock, but they ended to like laugh it off
He
a little
did,
bit.
yeah.
Well, so all the real tea comes from this is Hazel E from Love and Hip Hop. She came out because she used to date
She used to
Katt
date
with
him and live with him. She had
And
new
the
breasts
reason
and
she
stuff.
broke up, she got new breasts. She
got new
broke up
breasts
with him
from
was
him.
because of that house raid. And when
Right.
that happened, she was like, "Okay, he's not a safe person for me to be around.
It
I'm
took a
gonna
house raid
get
to
out of
figure
the
that out."
right." So she came out to say, "Look, we all want to support Katt, but until somebody acknowledges that they are bipolar schizophrenic, and until the friends around that person help treat that, there's no saving him."
I'm gonna say it's probably weird for her to put out a statement like that, but that's what I was gonna say. You don't know what's going on in someone's life. So
Yeah.
I realize that like Katt, he's just crazy, he's insane. But honestly, there's obviously an issue going on. And it's not funny and it's not something to make fun of. There are a lot of people in this country who suffer from different mental illnesses and we sweep them under the rug. Now, in Katt's situation, I don't know what's going on with him, but I
Right.
would assume it does strike me as
It
very
appears
bipolar.
very
It seems
bipolar.
very bipolar behavior. And maybe, I know he's, like we said last week, he's raising a lot of kids. Maybe he pops them. That's your kids, that's your business. It's 2016, probably shouldn't be hitting kids anyway, but you can't hit
random
hit
kids.
random strangers, and he's done it a couple times. I also know that when you're bipolar,
A
though, you have a hair
old woman.
Right, but to his defense, now there is a video that they say there's 2 different videos. There's one video that shows him punching a kid, and then there's a second video that has been released by TMZ as well that shows a different angle. It shows Katt being, they said the way that his face is hit is focused and his hair, that he was punched first, and that the first video with the alleged 7th grader or 17-year-old, whatever he is, that Katt hit him was altered.
Thank
So-
you, Derrial.
So then,
Defending him.
No, I'm not defending
not
the
the only-
action.
no, you're not
I'm
the only
saying
person.
But here's the thing, it
It
doesn't
could
matter.
be
Though. Even
altered.
if
Doesn't
he,
matter.
even if
We
he
are
was,
in the
He was
age
playing
of being
soccer
altered.
with kids.
even if
Walk
he was
away.
right, even
And maybe
if
he
was
didn't
hit
know the kid
first.
was, as you we're joking that he's 17, maybe he didn't know that the kid was 7th grade. I mean, that was a big
Even
kid.
if he was an adult.
Right. It doesn't matter. You can't, even if he was an adult, you can't go around punching people
But what if he
without
got punched first?
consequences. Doesn't matter. You still can't.
have
I mean,
to try
this
to
is
walk
not,
away.
I understand they were in a schoolyard, but this is not schoolyard stuff.
I know, but if I get punched first, I'm not going to say my reaction is not to punch somebody back.
Wait, you're a public figure. We're talking about something different.
You
like
think
he
a little
is,
bit.
yes.
You should think a little
yes,
bit
because
harder
someone
about
like
it.
Katt.
And you really just played my whole entertainment game. You was like a public figure.
Yes.
Daryl, not you. A public figure.
No, that's not what
You
I
are
meant.
currently a public
I meant-
figure.
No, I meant you're a public figure too, and I haven't heard about you.
If we hear about you hitting somebody in the street,
It's not,
recognize
it's
they
not
can
like,
sue you too.
It's not like I haven't wanted to hit a bitch either, but you can't.
It's not like I don't want to hit bitches every day of my
That's
life.
right,
Like
but
I see
apparently
it.
you can.
You can walk
cannot.
away.
I would ram my car into some of these motherfuckers, but you can't.
You cannot do that.
So with Katt, I think it's a little dicey what she did. It's someone's
Right.
personal business,
Yeah.
but she's in the know. He probably does have some conditions, and if you have a lot of yes people around you, which I'm not saying
Sure.
he does, but if you do, then they let you off the hook for your behavior. And at this point, he's only hurting his own career, which
Yeah.
makes me so sad for
'Cause
him.
he's so good.
He's so talented. Like we all agreed, he would dust the field with any comedian
Sure, he
in a
would.
bout. But this is how he's self-sabotaging himself.
I think he should just lay super low for a while. He shouldn't go anywhere but stay in the house. I mean, because it seems like every time he goes out, something happens.
well, Red from Bad Girls Club got your back. She went on a whole Twitter rant about how the black community is just shunned and we don't know the real history and that they I don't know who
Who's
they
they?
are. That's my question.
I love when people say
So,
they.
I'm actually working on trying to get Red to call into our reality show, Reality Checked, for this, because she went on this whole rant about how the media is doing this to Katt because he's speaking out against the media, and this is what the media does when you don't work with them.
Listen, she might have a nugget of truth.
yeah.
If you piss off people, they're going to be more ready to send your tape off to TMZ and do
Exactly.
things like that.
But you have to do the actions.
But you got to do something to make it
Right,
available.
and
to
I
them.
But
think
the editing thing, that's where she was speaking of
Yeah.
it. Like, is someone out there?
But
Yeah, but I mean, it can be easily done. I mean, come on. I mean,
Okay, but even if it was, we still know he
He's
hit
crazy.
abroad at another place. He just hit somebody 2 weeks ago. Like he was just in jail. For,
Yeah,
like,
I mean-
He just out here like, hi, my name's Katt.
if you
Right.
put it out there that that's what you're
Sure.
doing and you've shown nothing other than that for God knows how long, then you can't be surprised when people believe that of you because that's what you've shown us.
Because
of
if
you.
if it's not something like a mental thing
Yeah.
that's going on, it's a serious anger management problem, which is, there's classes for that. There's things to be
Yeah,
done.
Sure.
Because if you're a hair trigger like that, it's probably a symptom that something else is
off.
going on in your world that is wrong, either physically or mentally.
Yeah.
So I love Katt, and I want him on
it
the
out,
road
brother.
to wellness, and I want him to stop hitting alleged
Small
children.
and women.
And women.
and people in general.
And people in general. And I want him to get his
and
perm game
himself.
tight. I need it to be tighter.
I want his hair conked again.
Yeah. I need his perm game to get a little tighter.
I loved
do.
his pimp look. I don't know why. Like,
It
if a
works for
guy
him.
rolled
It
up
works
on
for
me
him.
with that hairstyle, I'd be like,
no.
But I love someone
It
looking like a
worked on him.
1959 pimp.
Yeah.
It's great look.
And a hat with a feather.
Well, maybe, Katt, you should play golf. And maybe if you want to
You
learn how to
trust
play
him
golf.
around
I was
golf?
gonna say,
Well, no,
sounds
he don't
like
get to
a bad
actually
idea.
play, but you can check out DraftKings.com because they have a new situation going around where you can create your league based on golf. I know nothing about golf, so I'm gonna have to
But
go
you can
on to
make a league
DraftKings.
around golf?
Yeah, like your
That's
your
awesome.
favorite
Players
people or
and-
whatever.
yeah.
You guys can win money off of it. There's a code called. You guys can use the code BLACK. Just check out DraftKings.com.
Well,
Black
thank you,
like
Jesse.
me.
You make me
Black
want to go play
like-
golf right now. If I go to DraftKings.
The only
don't
golf
know
player I
anything
know is
about
Tiger
golf.
Woods. I don't know
I was
no
gonna
other.
say, like, I can't name another golf player.
Other than
Than Jack Nicklaus, who's like
Don't even know
a
that.
million
I mean,
years
I know
old.
that, but
Right.
that's like-
I
a
would have been like,
modern
didn't he play the Joker in the
golfer.
original Batman?
Silly. All right, moving on. Courtney
But
Stewart, what do you
last
have
thing,
for us
but
today?
wait, really quickly, I want to say, if there are people out there who are watching or listening, and they're like, I hit people a lot, and I'm really tense, that's a great time to go see a therapist. And I know a lot of black people don't think that therapists are helpful, but they are.
They
Your
are very.
friends,
Talk it
they
out.
can't help you the way that someone who is trained in these things
very true.
can. So please, if you're feeling a little Katt Williams, please reach out and get help.
I felt like that was a Rachel moment. Like we need some light music behind
Turn
that
the lights
whole.
down.
Yeah, that little.
Spotlight out.
That was like a PSA you just gave right
because
now.
I just don't want
If you're
people to
feeling
think.
very angry tonight and you just want to punch that bitch on the corner, go get
Go-
help.
I
Go
don't
get
want
help.
people to think that we're, because it's like, oh, ha ha ha,
Yeah,
Katt
it's funny,
Williams.
but it's not a joke.
Right, like what mental distress, which a lot of people go through, but are embarrassed to talk about, is a big issue. So I just want you
true.
to know. I
She supports you
care,
and
I
we
do.
support you.
We support you at
And
BHL.
therapy is an awesome thing. I went for like 10 years. I don't go anymore because I went for 10 years. And what I learned was some great skills that my parents didn't teach me because they didn't know. So I learned better coping skills so that I don't punch a bitch.
On that note, Courtney, what do you have for us today?
I'm
Boom.
not gonna punch a bitch, but I would like to hug one. His name is Nate Parker, and he's amazing.
Yes.
He ain't no bitch though.
He ain't no
No.
bitch though, but he's fine.
He is really handsome.
He is so handsome.
Yeah.
Is that all you got? She said, I'm not going to even
story.
continue with the
The
story.
story.
We're just going to leave it at
All
that.
right, so we all know Nate, who just sold his amazing movie "Birth of a Nation" for
17 million or something
millions
like
of
that,
dollars
right?
at Sundance. It's an amazing movie that he produced and starred in and directed everything. So he has a new project under his belt. He is opening a film school at Wiley College, which is a historically black college in East Texas. It's also the college that was the backdrop for the 2007 film he was in with Denzel Washington called The Great Debaters. And basically, the program launches fall of 2016, so he jumped right on that. I'm like, when did you have time to do that? Because you just did the movie. But the goal is to basically cultivate new voices. He did an interview with the local news outlet KLTV, and he said, quote, The hope is that we cover all aspects of filmmaking, from sound, lighting, and cinematography to just studying film, specifically with the cultural component and the history of film. You control the moving picture, you control the masses. So really getting them rallied around the idea of reclaiming the narrative of America, specifically through the eyes of people of color, is his goal. So he's got it set up. They already have a summer program in place that kids are already signed up for, and fall 2016, you can take a class at the Nate
Bam.
Parker School
That
of
is
Film.
amazing, and that is a Black person supporting their community
Yes, it
and
is.
giving back. And I think that there's a lot of great film programs. They're not necessarily at historically Black colleges.
Exactly.
So this is actually a really big
Yeah.
deal, and hopefully it will let Black parents who are thinking about sending their kids to school, like, this is a viable career working in
Yes.
film. It's not some airy-fairy thing. It's actually what his program will do will hopefully bring out new filmmakers with coming from a perspective of a person of color.
Yes.
And that's what we've kind of been missing. That's why you get movies, about like a white person going to Africa and rescuing everyone instead of the Black person who set them up and helped them do all that. So we might start seeing movies more from our perspective that aren't just, slave stories or Boys in the Hood.
And
which
I
is an
think
amazing
we're finding
movie.
the transition of this too, because we talked about Ava DuVernay doing this as well, and creating something for young Black women. So I think we're getting both sides, and I really think that, especially after this year of coming off of the lack of Blackness in Hollywood and the Oscars, we're gonna see this change in the next few years, and it's really gonna be a big thing, I feel like.
And it feels like they're tackling it too from a stronger business perspective than it has in the past, because it's always sort of been like a creative conversation. Like, we want to see more Black faces in front of the camera, and we want to tell more stories. But like Ava DuVernay, like, her focus was on distribution and figuring out how to learn that path to distribution,
smart.
which is so smart. Nate Parker figured out how to produce a film, get it sold from like that. Those are the steps, because we live in an age now where it's pretty accessible for most people to be able to make a film of some sort, because camera equipment and things like that.
You can do it on your iPhone.
Making it
at this
digital has
stage.
changed things, but the actual process of the business to really get it to the next level is something that I think has been missing, and it seems to be much more
true.
accessible.
And we have to acknowledge that people are actually studios
their
are
knowledge.
sharing their knowledge, and studios are picking these things up. They see the value in it, so that's important too.
He made me feel so lazy.
Yeah, I felt like
so
I'm like,
as
how
a
did
person.
you made a feature film that you started and you produced it and directed and you wrote that shit, like, you shopped it around, you got the money for it, and you were building a school, like,
did it all.
and he's been on the board of trustees at the school
yeah.
for however long, and already was doing that. So I mean, you're an impressive young man.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
That's a
And
role
you're
model right there.
That's a
For
good
real.
role model right there. I'll
Is he
holler at you.
single?
I don't know.
All right, Michael B.
Kind of look. Michael B got some competition.
Step it on up.
Me and Nate might have a situation.
Daddy status.
Okay. Moving on to things that are wonderful also that are happening for people. So I don't know if you guys know or are aware, but millennials age 18 to 24 years old make up the fastest growing homeless population in this country.
Really?
Which I did not know, but once I started reading about it, it kind of made sense, because those of us that are blessed enough to have a home to return to, like, if we go to school or if we choose not to go to school, like, most millennials are actually staying in their home with their parents
Right.
well past the age of 18 years old.
True.
Oh, it's the parents who are
Yes,
losing the
but
homes.
there's a lot of 18 to 24-year-olds who don't have those parents, so they don't have anything to turn back to when they can't afford
Or their
to
parents lost
exist.
their home after the
Or
big
parents have
After
lost
the big,
homes,
yeah.
recession.
or, so there's a whole population that's sort of in the middle that's not really getting anywhere. So San Francisco has obviously this problem, because the problem is much worse obviously in larger cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, and New York, etc. And San Francisco decided to try to take on the issue a little bit. So there's a nonprofit organization called Mercy that provides subsidized affordable housing for low-income residents, including 25 apartments that they reserve specifically for 18 to 24-year-olds. Because the thing that's happening is that we do have public housing, we have Section 8 all across the country in different places, but waiting lists in San Francisco was so long they just closed it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Waiting lists in New York were like 10 years.
Yeah, it was
And
7 when I
but
was
families, the reason that it was a bigger problem for 18 to 24-year-olds is because families are actually given priority. So like if you're competing against a mom, a dad, and 3 kids, you're not going to get the apartment. They're going to get the apartment. So those 18 to 24-year-olds are falling through the cracks and being forced to live on the street. So the nonprofit set it up in an attempt to sort of make this a model going forward for other cities, to give these kids a chance to be at home, because also with the public housing, you would get kicked out of public housing or not qualify if you were taking too many classes in school and receiving certain funding, because the way that federal funding was working, it's sort of like how our welfare system's set up. Like if you work too much, you're not going to get your benefits. Right. So it didn't encourage 18 to 24-year-olds to be in school and try to get themselves out of that cycle of poverty and homelessness. And so Mercy is trying to do something a little different. And they are still qualifying for tax credits, and the kids are allowed to take certain amounts of classes in school.
Unfortunately, 25 units is not going to do much.
It's not a lot.
It's not going to do much.
But it's a start.
If you're working,
it's a start.
If you're combining like full-time work and part-time school, and you now have somewhere to live, that changes your whole situation.
What they need to do is have in San Francisco subsidized housing for the teachers. Did you read the articles about how the teachers in super wealthy areas like San Francisco or Marin, they cannot afford to live in the school district where they're teaching, and so
God knows where.
That's right, down on $20,000 a year, $25,000 a year. So that's going to become a problem, rich people. I mean, even we're talking about teachers even in private schools. They're not unionized in private schools, so they can be paid a lot or a little. And this is the future of our country education.
It is.
I'm always shocked that we don't.
It's scary though.
Yeah.
It's
totally scary.
Income and housing, something weird.
But I am glad that San Francisco did this for 18 to 24-year-olds, and I hope that LA will step by. You know, I've heard these stories about little tiny houses in LA that homeless people put out for homeless people to use, and then the city carts them away. The tiny houses.
Well, I think we need to start with all the big markets too. You know, yes, the little markets need to be covered, but I think the major cities need to really have this foundation there.
I mean, if you look at people in like overseas, they take the big warehouse crate things and they turn them into like
somebody was doing that.
Tons of apartments, and they're like literally, it's probably the size of like a square, but it's like incredible that they're trying to engineer and think of these things. Why aren't we bringing these to these cities? We have so much space. I always talk about like all this land in these woods where, you know, they release the prisoners and all that stuff. Like, why can't we build something like that? But the problem is upkeep. That's my biggest thing. Is like, okay, if we're going to invest money in this, then I would rather my taxes invest into keeping it looking nice, because then it becomes a housing for people with
Right, I get that's why they carted away the little houses here. Oh, we don't want your little house in our nice neighborhood, so we're going to get rid of it because we don't want undesirables. If we have one house, then more people are going to congregate. I get that.
But there needs to be programming that is forced upon these people.
I'm a democratic liberal person, and I believe in helping out other people. Like, we're only as strong as our weakest link, basically.
That's very true.
So if we don't have these things in line. But I also understand we live in a capitalist society. So the truth is, if you own, you're a landowner and you own lots of buildings in San Francisco, you don't have to do anything. It's just it's your personal calling.
It's right, yeah.
If you feel compelled to help your fellow man, which I hopefully more of us will do that.
Well, otherwise it might be a bigger problem in the future. That's that's the reality of things.
It's a growing problem.
Yeah.
We need to.
All right.
The biggest threat to capitalism.
Any way you can help. Yes. Well, thank you, Courtney, for that. Before we move on to our final topics of the day, I want to remind everyone to give us a rating and comment. You guys have been doing a great job on our YouTube and on iTunes of letting us know what you do and don't like. There's been a lot of discussions. There was a lot of hair discussions from last week. We really love the comments.
By the way, how cute is Courtney's hair today? I'm
loving the fro. The fro is,
I do. Like, I want you to know, as a small child, I was always like, why can't I get my hair to go up?
Pig it out and put a lot of product in it.
This isn't
but
picked
it's a
out.
perfect
A lot of
fro.
product in it. It's gorgeous looking.
It's just perfect. I feel like a big pick should be right in the back. Just picking it up.
It's in my bag.
With a fist pick.
Right.
I don't have a fist pick, but I do have a really cool wooden pick that my friend brought me from Kenya.
Oh, I like the wooden picks.
And I do love that natural hair is slowly seeping its way back in, even here in LA. Because here in LA, I don't know about other areas in the country, we find a trend, and everyone all of a sudden the next day, everyone is wearing the exact outfit and it has the exact hair.
Yeah.
That shocked. No, when I moved from New York City, I was like, how is everybody wearing a little flower dress? And because it was the 90s. Yeah. So how is everyone has the exact same dress? And I did think, and I must get one too. So I just I did, because I was young, and I'm grown up now, and I understand that individuality is more important than following the masses, Kardashians.
Well, you say Kardashians.
What?
Well, I always felt like living in New York as well. New York, if you say you have mannequins up, right? If you look at a mannequin and you're from New York, you may take a scarf from that mannequin, you may take some socks, you may take the pants, and then you make it your own thing.
Mix.
If you're in LA and looking at a mannequin, you buy the entire outfit.
The entire
The
outfit.
entire outfit.
Exactly. We dress like clones here, so it's nice to see that natural hair is making its
feeling
way to
it.
LA, because I know that women in other parts of the country and men were telling me, no, we all wear our hair natural in DC. But I was like, really?
No, yeah, it's in
Is that
LA
the height of-
specifically. Then.
Yeah. it
Right.
is.
Just grown.
Well, we appreciate you and all your naturalness, Courtney Stewart.
That's all I can
No,
be.
we really
It's
do.
been
And
that
so
way
did the
for quite
fans,
some
because the fans have been
time.
commenting on that. So
Because I
please
was
continue to
thinking,
comment.
why isn't there more of a discussion? Like when I was a kid, and again, it was a completely different time. There was a discussion about like, well, do we all want to buy into straightening our hair just to look like so and so, or to look more agreeable? And there was a big discussion, and the answer back when I was a kid was no. Now today it's yes, absolutely,
Sure.
and I've seen lots of little things on YouTube where we black people judge each other. If I
We do.
hear
We-
one more
we-
person talking about someone's edges, I don't give a goddamn what your edges look like. And the fact that you're going to judge people on their edges means it means.
Don't tell my grandmother that though.
No,
my grandmother watches
See,
some
I'm
edges.
a little
so.
bit about like
Really?
opposite
Are
of that
you?
because
Yeah.
I want you to.
Why?
Because it's not judging you. We want you to protect your edges
No,
because the
but
reason
people
that the
are
edges are a
talking-
problem is because they're ripping them out with
No,
all these waves and stuff.
I understand that, but that's not what people are
Well, now it's
judging.
a joke.
It-
Like, it's a joke.
But people are really hardcore on each
Yeah.
other about something that is just genetics or has nothing to do with the
It
person.
can be genetics for sure.
It can be
It can
genetics.
definitely be
Or it
genetics.
could be-
I don't
I'll
have
have
any
it
hair
like
here.
this.
Yeah.
I've never had hair there.
Genetic,
You
yeah.
know, like that's a genetic thing. Luckily, I
But-
wear it in front of my face.
But you're
so you'll
also
never
not
know.
Naomi Campbell with your weave back here
And then
your
your
edges,
hair, yeah.
like, done from
Okay.
here all the way back.
Yeah.
So that's sort of
Oh.
the root of where the edges conversation sort of came from.
Oh, is it? I have seen those pictures, and I did go, oh, I feel.
But she's been a model for
Or the
30 damn
counter,
years.
the
And she's still doing
blonde
it.
ones too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've met girls who are in their 20s who were talking about like, well, I might need Bosley hair replacement, and that's because we're ripping our hair out
Yeah.
with weaves, trying to look a certain way. And I do find it insane when people are like, well, you don't look as professional, or I don't look as responsible because our
Story
hair
of
is
our
natural.
life.
It is kind of the story of our lives. But fashions will try,
It's changing.
Fashions are
Slowly
changing.
but surely.
Fashions are going into curly, but then what next when that goes away is what I'm trying to say. Because again, I've
It
just
always
reached
comes
an
back.
age where I realize there's no benefit in me trying to squish myself into a mold
Right.
that other people say I must be.
Right, yeah.
When you're a teenager or 20, you really think you have to, though, and that's what makes me a little sad for the kids coming up now, because they're going to think, if I don't have a perfect weave or perfect edges, I'm not cool enough, and you are.
true.
What are you laughing at,
Barbie
girl?
syndrome.
Well, listen, this is why you guys keep commenting on our YouTube
On our
and
hair.
our iTunes and everywhere
love
else
you guys.
because clearly we might need a hair section that we need to put in every week's show.
Siri, the Siri.
Yeah.
This week on hair.
This week on
Courtney and
Hair
Rachel.
with Black Hollywood Live.
I'm sorry, I'm on my hair.
No, but
My
seriously,
hair's so
continue
boxed.
to give us the comments and ratings on YouTube and on iTunes because we do appreciate it and we do take into account,
We
obviously,
do.
by this passionate conversation
do.
of what you guys are saying. All right, moving on to the ER Web Story Spotlight of the Week.
Web story spotlight of the week.
Speaking of hair or maybe bad hair, apparently Donald Trump has a lot of black supporters.
His hair's gotten better,
Define
by
a
the way.
lot.
Yeah.
Well,
Although that
define a
past
lot
one
is
that I
Change the
Trump
color.
says 25%, but we really found out that it was only 4 to 5% that are actually his followers, black followers. But this week, it actually was kind of funny. Larry Wilmore on The Nightly Show on Comedy Central, he had a contest basically where he wanted to find the black supporters for Trump. So he interviewed 6 of them. And it's interesting because he was kind of drilling them in a comedic way about why they were supporting Trump so much. Some of the comments they were making was they were losing faith in the current state of our Democratic Party. Some said he's gangsta. Some said he is cool. And some people said everybody's trying to make us a slave except for Donald Trump. He will not make us a slave. Well, we have a little
Yeah,
clip.
because he'll kick you out of the country, so you can't be a
He will.
slave.
That's very true. Well, we have a little clip here of that interview with the 6 quote-unquote black supporters of Trump. Here we go.
Donald Trump.
I'm a registered Democrat, let me start first. And I lost faith and belief in the current state of our party right now with our 2 candidates.
I'm open to Donald Trump because I feel like he's a gangster.
He's a gangster.
He's a gangster.
Is he a gangster or a gangsta?
He's a gangster.
Okay.
He's going out here and he's kind of gangstering the whole situation. He's like, if you come up to my mic, I'm taking you out.
Right.
Coming from the hip hop community, I understand his language.
Right, because he is kind of like a rapper. I mean, he's into gold.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? He has his own vodka.
He's got his own vodka.
He's got a private jet.
He's got a private jet.
And he really likes white women.
Exactly. And his wife is a model.
Correct. Would that sway anybody else, those qualities?
exactly.
The way you express it, I've never thought of it that way, but
Exactly.
he's
But
pretty
that's pretty
cool.
awesome.
Have you told other black people?
So,
about
so
that?
that is a little clip there. You can watch the full session on YouTube and go to Comedy Central as well for the clip from this week. What do you guys think about that? And I mean, obviously Larry put a comedic spin on things, but it is a serious issue that these, I was trying to figure out if these people were hired actors or were they real?
The only one I really, truly, honestly believe is like a real supporter is the guy in the back right with the, I guess the back
blue
left with
suit.
the blue suit, just based off his answer. It sounded the most like, I'm not entertaining half of these questions, but then when he asked him a direct why he will support, it was like, okay, somehow psychically I can see you actually supporting him. But that woman talking about the gangster thing, like, I'm just sitting over here like, on national television, that's the sentence you decided to...
It comes across very ignorant, but at the same time, I think she's speaking to the sentiment of all the Trump supporters. They like the idea that he says whatever he really thinks,
Wants to say,
and
yeah.
he doesn't care what all these other people think. He doesn't care
But he's
what
not
the establishment
saying, but
thinks.
why don't they understand he's not saying what he really
hasn't
thinks?
talked to any
Because he'd be calling you the N-word right to your face if he was saying what he really thinks.
The blacks. When he asked them,
The
what
blacks,
do you
the
guys
Jews.
think
The
of
blacks,
that?
yeah.
What do you guys think when Donald Trump calls you guys the
blacks,
blacks?
yeah.
She said, I think that, he has a little, there's a disconnect between
disconnect,
us
yeah.
and him. And, that's us to mend that.
Well, one of the biggest things too is that if you watch the video, the gentleman who is in the tan jacket to the far left of the back of the panel,
The one that said he was cool.
The one who said he was
He said,
cool.
"I never
He
thought of
mentioned the
that."
fact that he was Muslim. So Larry went crazy on him after that because he's saying, "Wait a minute, you're Muslim and you still support Donald Trump?" And that's when he went in and started talking more about why he supported Trump with him being cool and that he supported his causes. But I'm thinking, come on, man. I mean, that's where I started to believe that this was maybe some actors hired versus being real. Because if
Yeah.
you're Muslim,
I don't
there's
think
no
they're
way I can believe
actors.
that you're supporting
because
him.
everybody that is supporting Trump, like, they're saying the
Say
same
these things.
stuff. Like, they are just impressed that he's running off at the mouth and is actually winning, regardless of what the quote-unquote actual politicians and the establishment is doing. It doesn't, and they're able to overlook all of the negative, horrible things that he says, and they're like, he's rich, he can run a business. I
He
think
can't
he
run
can
a
get the
business.
business. But
They go bankrupt.
But he's
so
rich.
many. But here's
It's
the thing:
one of
how
those-
is a gangster? I know you don't believe in
I
him.
don't think he's
I know you
gangster.
don't. But like, how is a gangster or stir to inherit millions? To inherit millions of dollars? Like there's a thing that said had he just taken the money he inherited, left it in the bank, not touched it, he would have more money than he actually has
Right.
now. So I don't think that's gangster. I think that's super privileged. There's nothing gangster. And again, what it teaches me, and like I'm an avid reader, so I'm guessing that most Americans are not. Is what
I would
because
say
of the
you're
way.
probably right.
No, but I'm getting the sense like if like Scott Baio, who's a idiot moron, who said horrible things about our first lady, like you don't have to want to do her, but don't say stuff about her. Like what he said was awful. He just came out saying and supporting Trump, saying, well, he speaks the way that I do. So on a 5th grade level, and like a Dr. Seuss book apparently, because that's Trump's thing. It's literally just repeats these very simplistic sentences.
But isn't the reading level in America, the average person
Fifth
reads
grade?
at a
No.
5th grade level?
Fifth-
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it's a
5th, 6th grade level. Yeah.
That's why the show came out.
I'm
Are you
pretty
smarter
sure
than a
it's
5th
fifth
grader?
grade.
Smarter than a 5th grader.
I'm pretty sure it's 5th.
Yeah.
I just want to say
That
because
hurts.
what really went viral on this was the guy in the front with the braids. He said
About paid slave.
paid slavery, and everyone took it like a whole nother way. I felt like it was a little taken out of context because I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt that he just looks at us being here in America and having to work.
I think
for the
that's what
man.
he was saying.
Yeah, but it didn't
Yeah.
come off like that, and they didn't edit it that way. So I just wanted like to give that sentence the benefit of the doubt because I felt like that's where he was going with it. And I was like,
Well, what I found interesting too is the fact that
slavery.
Larry Wilmore asked them if they had told their family that they were supporting Trump, and everyone up there said absolutely.
I mean, they're on national
They were
television
adamant
saying
about
it, so why
I mean,
wouldn't
that's
they
true.
tell their
I'm still
parents?
torn if they're real Trump supporters or just people who are like, wait, I can be on TV.
Right.
Because she
Yeah,
said
that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
open. She said I'm open to Trump.
I'm open
That's
to
what
Trump.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like anyone's like, yeah, I want to be all those people probably want to be actors, and that's why they're sitting on that panel. No, really, well, you're laughing, but it's true. People will do anything to get on television.
That's absolutely true.
Just like because a lot of the TV shows were like, it's your baby daddy mama thing. You know, some of those people.
And they were paid money to go in there. And
That's
do
what I'm
that.
saying. They're paid money,
sure.
and they've shown the behind the scenes where they're not even mad at the person, but they're not actors, but they know how to act.
Yeah.
You know, especially.
Well, that's why I said I don't know if I believe that this entire case. I mean, I kind of agree with Jesse, the guy in the blue suit. He seemed like he might have been legit, but everybody else, I don't know, it was a little suspect.
Like, I'll tell you a little nugget. A friend of mine was shooting the movie Studio 54 or 54, I think, whatever. I went to visit her on set, and they were like, hey, you want to be in it? We can have you walk in. There's one of the girls and the celebs. Sure. And Donald Trump is in the movie, and so they're like, what if we ever walk in Trump? And they were like, no, he won't do that. Like, he wouldn't walk in with someone black. So I don't know if that was coming from him but production knew, like, not to stick a black girl next to him on the walk-in, just the walk-in on Studio 54. So again, can't say that's coming from him, but it must have come from sipping her tea.
Was that sipping your tea right there,
your
Courtney?
tea.
God,
That was like
big gulp
that
7-Eleven.
was guzzling your tea right there. That wasn't sipping.
But I don't think this liberal cast and crew of the movie would have come up with that on their own, is all I'm trying to say here. I think they
I feel
got
you.
that from,
Yeah.
his camp. And
He's got lots of black friends.
Black friends. Well, you know what's also interesting is that I was reading a recent article talking about how he's lied about his black supporters. So I kind of mentioned it at the top of the statement, but Trump said he has 25% of black supporters, and the reality is, according to factcheck.org, he only has 4 to 5%.
why do we
black
let him
supporters.
lie and get away with it? Like, that's the thing. If Hillary or Bernie say one thing,
Well,
there's a million fact checkers.
Right.
He just lies, straight up lies. We say it's lies, but most people don't read newspapers, so they don't know.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
And we accept that
Yep.
from Hollywood.
But it's only
That's
because
how
we
he got as far as he's gotten.
And if he hadn't had his TV show, I don't think all these Americans would be supporting him.
I agree
with
It's
that.
simply
I
that
agree.
we recognize him from
We
television
recognize
and
him.
Because
celebrity.
honestly, the only thing that
Power
doesn't
of
want to make me hate him is that I love the show Celebrity Apprentice.
You do?
I really no, I really
Here's the
You're
thing, I'm not-
fired.
No, but I'm not gonna lie to you, Jesse. You were there the day we were at the NBC press junk, and I think the day I interviewed Donald Trump, and you know
was
what? He was
Great.
He was great, and I had a totally different viewpoint about him. And then when he started running, honestly, I really thought this entire thing was a joke because of the way that he was with me when I interviewed him. I would have never gotten.
Did you read the New York Times article?
Yes.
That was a good article.
That was a good
I
article.
think. They basically went down. This is
Yeah,
why.
explain.
This is why we think, from New York Times perspective, was when he was ripped a new a-hole by a few different comedians and President Obama at a dinner. It was like after that he was like, "I will get respect." And
Was it the roast? Because there's a roast that Seth Meyers just recently did that I just posted. If you go to my Derrial Christon Facebook.
Yeah, they did it, Don.
I think there's that.
yeah,
There's
that
one
was-
where
that was
Obama
before that.
That was
there's-
before that? Okay, because
yeah.
there's one because Obama laughs at
That's
the end
after
of the.
he started running.
Got it, okay.
And Obama laughed.
Okay.
And,
Right.
he was in
And
the
I know
audience.
that he
But
was.
this is
They said that he was
before.
pissed off
This is
about
something
that.
else where Obama is basically going in hard on Donald Trump. And I do believe that it was simply ego that made Donald Trump want to win. I don't think he wants to be president of the United States. I think he's just ego enough.
Let me see if I can do this.
Right,
and people will
which
vote for
I
me.
get, because a lot of the things I've accomplished in my life were pure ego. Like, let me see if I can do this. I think I
Right.
can do it. But this
And
is holding our country hostage.
I was reading this thing of watching this thing on Haiti, and they were talking about Sweet Mickey and how he was a performer in Haiti, and then he was so beloved, and he had no political stance for the country, but his music was fight the power.
Right.
And so Praz from the Fugees got him to be a part of this, and he actually ended up becoming president and like helping.
Those are people who have causes like Bob
Yeah,
the
so
Pavel was
it's
a
funny,
poet.
though, that
we're
this
not
is-
talking about people who actually had something going. This is different. I
It's
understand what
not.
you're
He wants to make America great again.
Well, no, it's almost like he saw that
That's what
and
he
he's
wants.
ripping that off, and it's like, but for the negative.
Right,
Yeah.
that's true. I believe that Trump is someone who would be like separate and unequal. That's the truth. Like if Trump becomes president, we have a completely separate and unequal world, which we're already living in. Because one thing we haven't even touched on is how one of Nixon's aides this week was
Yes.
like,
Yeah,
you know
saw
what?
that.
You know what? We did have a war against
bla-
drugs and
and
black
black
people.
people.
Which, by the
Yeah,
way, I want my
specifically.
40 acres and a mule right goddamn now because that's that's so crazy because that's.
We should all be suing right now.
But
as
we
a,
should. When
just
I was
as
coming
a
up
race.
as a kid, that was after that time period, and I would like, why are people looking at me like I'm a criminal when I haven't done anything yet?
It was all in the.
But here's the thing: are we really surprised by that?
No,
that news story?
we're not
I mean,
surprised
we knew.
by it.
We
there
knew.
are definitely some people that are surprised by it, but
Sure.
we
I'm not.
We are not.
surprised by
Why
it.
I
are
like how
more
you touched
people
that brown face.
talking about it? Like that's what I don't get.
Because
like,
they don't want to get back to the conversation of,
Race.
oh, there's something against black people. You
Right.
can still work. You can still become anything you want to be. This is America, the greatest
There's
country in
no
the
racism.
world. There's no racism, really.
There's no racism.
And if there is,
Mexicans and
everybody's
the
got their
blacks.
problems. You can overcome it. It'll be fine. And we'll all be fine because that's how fine we are right now. Because we all so fine. Because we always just keep looking the other way.
Bam. All right, well, we're going to end on something positive. There are 3 black women in the Congress who have made history this week because they have created a formation of the first and only Congressional Caucus for black women and girls. The caucus is described as a group devoted to creating public policy that eliminates significant barriers and disparities experienced by black women. It's made up of 3 different U.S. representatives, Bonnie Watson Coleman, Robin Kelly, and Yvette Clark. This is the first of 430 registered congressional caucuses and member organizations specifically targeted for black women and girls. And this is what Robin Kelly had to say about it, who is a part of this movement. She said, black women and girls are disproportionately affected by a myriad of socioeconomic issues that diminish their quality of life and well-being. So this is supposed to change the game or be a start of changing the game. So I think that's, first of all, we should applaud that and clap for that because that is going to change a lot of things, I think, for young black women and girls, especially when we talk about things, you know, such as Donald Trump and other things like that, and racism. But this is going to, I think, change the movement. But Courtney, you look like you have a little bit
What's
of
the
skepticism.
concern,
You look a little skepticism in your face right
that's the
there.
thing. I decided I'm just not going to be negative. I'm going to be positive and hopeful and not.
No, really.
But what did you first think
I
when you
think that it's
Just another
2016. You have a caucus. Great. Congress has been so effective for the last God knows how long. I won't even say last. It's been years. They've been so effective, and their effectiveness is not something that I look to be what it should be, what it needs to be, but maybe they'll surprise us all, and it'll be. And there's nothing wrong with an attempt at all, but at the same time, we're looking at who's running for president right now, who's going to be in space where funding is going to go.
This is not going to help us now, but this might help the next
future.
generation.
The future.
No, and I understand why you're maybe. I totally get why you have that piece of attitude. Like, great, another
I want to be
group to
really
discuss.
excited about it.
But I do think this is a step in the right direction, at least, because again, it's 2016, and these are all issues that have been going on
forever.
But forever. I mean, forever. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so we passed, like, you know, equal rights, and then everything was kind of swept under the rug. So this is kind of the birth of us talking about things.
Right.
Again,
2016, which is crazy, but again, we couldn't even go in the same restaurant 50 years ago,
very
55
true.
years ago.
That's
It's
very
a
true.
drop in the bucket. It literally just happened in the scheme of things.
Yeah, and according to some restaurants, even now,
I know.
with a couple lawsuits that are taking
But you
place.
know what's interesting?
Same
When
thing.
I was working on my sitcom, and my friend, a couple cast members who were black and lived in the Valley were having a conversation one day about like what restaurants were okay to go to and which ones weren't. And I was
That's
like, "What are you
crazy,
talking
man.
about?"
Wow.
And they were like, "Rachel, you're an idiot." And I was like, "Yes, I am. Sometimes, but this was no, I am. I'll be the first to admit it because I'm not as naive as that. But I just was like, the Valley. I mean, nobody's talking about Simi Valley. You mean the Valley?" And they
Right.
were like, "Yes." So. Yeah.
I mean, nothing surprises me these days. But the thing with this, I just think it's a conversation that started, and the conversations help make movements, even if it's not overnight. You know, it's just a long-term thing. All right, that concludes the topics of today per se, but I do have something special that I wanted to show. We there's a lot of buzz about Batman versus Superman that's coming out.
I'm excited.
I had the opportunity to see a screening of the movie yesterday, and we have a little clip because the movie opens up in most places tonight. And then major releases tomorrow. But here's a 30-second clip, and I want to find out if you guys are excited about the movie.
Here I am.
I'm Batman. No,
And I was.
I'm excited about Henry.
I was on. Well, Henry does. I personally think Henry was great. I had a lot of reservation about
Ben
playing Batman. I did. I mean, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian Bale fan.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
Do you forget?
I'm a Christian Bale fan.
Me
So-
too. Those were the best Batman movies ever, besides the TV show. This is why I'm not excited
Ben
about
Affleck
this.
does deliver, though. I must admit, he does deliver.
I'm not excited about this movie because I saw the first one with a friend of mine who writes for Critic for newspapers, and we were both shocked at how humorless, dry, and dull it was. The first Superman and the collateral damage, which I know they address. I think no spoilers, but they address that. But I just thought that was the weirdest thing that Superman rips up an entire city, like millions of people are dying, and there's like not a drop of humor in the movie, like not one little laugh.
Yeah.
I don't care about this movie.
Well, I would say
guess Rachel won't be at the
Rachel will not be there
Or
apparently
in
this
any
weekend.
subsequent Batman or Superman movies.
But they do introduce Wonder Woman, which I did like.
No, you liked what she looked like.
I
I'm
do
excited
like
for
the way she
Wonder
looks.
Woman.
Yes.
Did you guys ever? There's a book about the backstory of Wonder Woman. It's a autobiography of the writer. Read it. It's really interesting because she is a great feminist icon.
She was. I think she's portrayed that way in this movie. How they
That's
introduce her.
awesome.
I
I'm
really do.
excited for a Wonder Woman movie all on her own. I think
I hear that's in the
ready for
works. So, and I think she's about to be a major
I'm
star.
here for that.
So,
I'll see it.
I bet she kicks ass. She was in the Israeli army. When people
Yeah,
are like,
she
she's
was.
too skinny, I'm like, no, I don't think
No.
so. I
That
think
bitch
she
can
could
fight.
take
I think
each
she
and
could
every
take
one
it.
of us.
I think she could.
Yeah.
Courtney, where can fans find
You
you?
can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stuart Starlet.
Jesse?
You guys can find me at the theater this weekend watching My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2.
And Batman vs.
And
Superman?
Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
I-
The tickets aren't. You
And
can't even
at
buy the
BHL
tickets.
Right, you can't see it. It's so sold out already, right? Rachel?
I'm at Rachel True on Twitter, and please check out my blog, which is racheltrue.com, because I've got some posts on health stuff, and I've got craft scripts for sale up on there too.
I love that. I'll go to her site. Well, you can find me at Derrial Christon on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and on Walking Dead on Sunday nights at AfterBuzz TV.
Oh, wait, True Rachel True on Instagram. I keep forgetting. True Rachel
plug
True.
Plug that. All right, and we'll see you guys next week. And also remember to go to the Buzz Meter question and give us a rating and comment. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Derrial Christon, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.